Well, the Republicans are at it again. They just can't stand the idea that women should have rights or agency or even political or economic power. There's this, the whole traditionalist thing that the man is the head of the household and the wife is the handmaiden and all that kind of nonsense. First, they came after abortion, and now half the country, abortion is fully criminalized. Then they came after birth control. They're actually trying to eliminate access to multiple kinds of birth control and have done so at law in some cases. And then they came after IVF, in vitro fertilization. We've got at least one state that has outlawed that I believe was the Mississippi Supreme Court. And now they're going after no-fault divorce. The statistics on this are quite extraordinary. No-fault divorce was first instituted in 1969 in California by Governor Ronald Reagan. He, of course, was the first president who had ever been divorced and remarried. Nancy was his second wife. And by 2010, so that's 40 years, 41 years later, every state in the union had legalized no-fault divorce, where a couple can simply say, it's not working. We don't have to explain why to anybody. We don't have to prove that, the other person committed infidelity or was abusive or whatever. All we have to do is just sign a paper and say, that's it. Republicans want that ended. And why? Well, because it allows women to get out of bad marriages easily, because in states that don't have no-fault divorce, which at the moment is none, but it used to be everybody, right, pre-1969, a woman in an abusive relationship would have to go into court and document that abusive relationship, and that could be difficult, and that also enrages the husband and increases the probability that he will kill her rather than let her go. And the National Bureau of Economic Research did a study on this in 2003. And this is absolutely fascinating. What they found was that there was a large decline in the number of women who commit suicide in the years following the institution of no-fault divorce. And they found this in state after state. As states legalized no-fault divorce, where one party could simply go in and say, I'm out of here, sign the paperwork, and that's the end of it. In those states that did that, female suicide dropped. And in the states that hadn't done that yet, female suicide stayed high, number one. They also found, and this is a quote from the National Bureau of Economic Research, they found also, quote, a large decline in domestic violence in states that adopted unilateral or no-fault divorce. And then it goes on to say that there is evidence that unilateral divorce or no-fault divorce led to a decline in females murdered by their partners. So what's going on now? Well, Ben Carson, who's been mentioned as a possible Trump running mate, took on no-fault divorce in his new book. He said, for the sake of families, we should enact legislation to remove or radically reduce incidences of no-fault divorce. In January, Oklahoma State Senator Dusty Devers introduced a bill that would eliminate no-fault divorce in Oklahoma. That bill was not made into law, but hey, everything starts someplace, right? And then there's Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the number 2 guy, 2 heartbeats away from the president, who is in what's called a covenant marriage with his wife. Under Louisiana law, this kind of marriage makes, it's very, very difficult to divorce under these circumstances. In this kind of, and he's just a weird guy, I mean, he's got this deal with his son where they monitor each other's internet usage so they can make sure that nobody's watching porn. It's just weird. But he has, on multiple occasions over the years, literally over the decades, railed against no-fault divorce. He thinks everybody should be in the same kind of covenant marriage that he and his wife are. So get ready. This is going to be coming to a town near you.